Yeah. Okay. So again, we're just going to sum it up now. According to Rabbi Yochanan's understanding of Reb Meir, why the Mazid is Mukudeshes. If you take Hegdish and you marry a woman b'Mazid, you're aware it's Hegdish because you can be mold b'Mazid, according to Reb Meir. Shogeg, because it's not Ein Mukudeshes, because the equivalent of a Mekachtos. That's Rabbi Yochanan's understanding. Rav says no. Rav says there is no difference Shogeg and Mazid. In both cases, she's Mukudeshes because you benefited from something which was Hegdish and you had in mind to take it out of its domain, even inadvertently. And the mission is to be of Kostas Kuna. Right? The shirt of the Kohen, whatever, which we discussed. So now, Omer Ula Mishmei de Bar Podo. Ula says the name of Bar Podo, Omahoyer Remeir. So Bar Podo is Namora. He's explaining what Remeir held. Hegdish b'Mezid Mischaleo. When do you cause the transition from Hegdish to Chulin? If you do it deliberately. B'Shogeg Mischaleo. But inadvertently, it retains its Hegdish status. So Rashi says, because Bar Podo concurs with Rabbi Yochanan. Why can't Bar Podo argue with Rav? You could argue. It doesn't mean say it's not how we rule. Well, that's how you rule. You could argue. All Amorim could argue one another. It's a question of how we rule. Okay, so Bar Podo concurs with the Rav, but the whole thing's irrelevant because we don't paskin like Reb Meir anyway. We don't rule like Reb Meir. That's his understanding. No, Rav is such a dochik, as we discussed yesterday. Rav is a phenomenal dochik. Okay? A mischalel. Lo amru b'shogeg mischalel elelin korban. So what relevance does shogeg have to milah? That you have a liability of a korban. That although if you marry the woman b'shogeg, she's not married because it's equivalent to ekachtos, but shogeg has relevance. If you do it, if you mold b'shogeg, you have to bring a korban. So where's the question? But if we're saying if you take hegdish inadvertently and the conversion doesn't take place, so if that's the case, why should it be? There's no liability. Why should it be a liability of korban? No. So Rashi himself explained earlier that Rabbi Yochanan would hold where you benefit, you eat it, right? Rashi, no. Rabbi Yochanan doesn't say those words. But there is a case of korban, b'shogeg. So Rashi says, so according to Rabbi Yochanan, when he eats it, so the Gemara is going to say the same thing here. What Bar Podo meant to say with b'shogeg, it's mischalu regarding korban, although there's no conversion, but nevertheless, b'shogeg, there is a level of what? Of chilul, and therefore we have a liability. So the Gemara doesn't make any sense. You're telling me that there's no conversion. So if there's no conversion, so you didn't affect hegdish. So that's why. So therefore, Elok Yosef Ravin. When Ravin had come, Porish Mishmei de Bar Podo, he went and elucidated in the name of Bar Podo. What did Bar Podo mean to say? B'shogeg it's mischalu regarding korban. Omar Yeremeh Hegdish b'meis mischal b'shogeg mischalel. V'omar b'shogeg mischalel inyan achilo bilvod. That's what he meant. Korban meant that if you should eat to benefit from it, so there's not a question of mekachtos. If I mistakenly eat your food, I benefited. So I have to compensate you the food that I ate. Of course, that's Mila means you're not permitted to benefit from Hegdish. Mila manifests in one of two ways. Either you take it out of the domain of Hegdish, or you benefit from Hegdish. One or the other. So, Shogeg, we say you cannot take something out of the domain of Hegdish b'Shogeg. Because that's a transfer. The object exists, you want to transfer it out of the domain. That only, why? Because it's equivalent of Mekachtos. But if a person goes and consumes it, factually, it doesn't exist, and you benefited. So therefore you have to compensate for the benefit that you had. It is mischalel. It is mischalel. It's mischalel. No, that's what it says. A mischalel v'lo omru. B'shogeg a mischalel. That means if I take an object, not knowing its hegdish, I want to purchase something. It retains its hegdish status. A mischalel. So what does it mean? B'shogeg, it's mischalel. Elin yachil, if you eat it. That's why he has to bring the korban. It's mischala as a result of eating it. Okay? But let's say we're going to have a case, which we showed mistake. Let's say you take corn. We asked earlier, Tosis asked the case. It says that takl chaditin, your what? Yemol, ben b'shogeg ben memezid. The new coins for machzor shekel. If you take those coins, whether deliberate or inadvertently, you mischala it, right? You're. So the question, how? No, it's a shogeg. We don't differentiate. So the answer is, they say, what about if you take the coin and use it as a counterweight on a scale? So using it as a counterweight on a scale, it's the equivalent of what? It's equivalent of eating it. You're benefiting. The coin, although the coin retains its kedusha, but if you benefit a shavat pruta from hegdish, yeah, you have to compensate hegdish value a fifth, and you have to bring a korban. No, if it's a megach tos, that's you haven't benefited. I purchased a shirt. So if the sale is not a valid sale, that means the transfer never happened, right? But if you use a coin of hegdish mistakenly, inadvertently, did I actually benefit because now the scale function? I used the coin as a counterweight. I used the coin as a counterweight.
I understand, but if you marry someone with hegdish coin,
We discussed this 6 times. If the marriage is not a marriage, she's not your wife.
but she is a, but with the benefit that she could be married. Why can't
Okay.
she marry?
I go buy myself a Rolex watch with hegdish money b'shogeg, a coin to Rabbi Yochanan, Rameir. Is the watch your watch? You may wear it for the next 25 years, right? It's not your watch because the sale was not a valid sale.
I'm trying to say that.
Let's say the seller sold you a stolen watch. You could believe from today forever that it's your watch, but it's not your watch. So if it's a mekach tos, so if the marriage is not a marriage, you could. No, it had to be a transaction. The transaction never happened. But if you actually benefit, you ate it, or you used it at the scale function because you had a counterweight, you benefited. So then that's milah. No, he would disagree. Disagree. He doesn't have because Rav is saying a tremendous chidush.
Rav is saying there is no case.
No, not only that. It's not only that, but because of that, he's saying something which is the dochik. Not because what you said yesterday. He's saying since when they consecrated the shirt, it's to be used in a context which is impossible to be so careful. Therefore, if the coin should be shogeg, benefit on a personal level, he's not moil. Therefore, if another person totally under context takes it and marries a woman, it's not milah. What does one thing after another? It's this context, not that context. So I'm saying, you could reject the whole concept as a difficult concept, right? Rab is forced to say that because he has no alternative. But if I have an alternative, I'd have to agree with that because the whole concept is difficult to accept. Rabbi Yochanan says the same thing. So evidently, they said, you do find it.
It's strange that they don't give you the source. Like, where exactly is it?
You know how they understand it? This Mishnah. The Mishnah says...
Because they can't read the Mishnah the way that Rav...
Exactly. Because there's no alternative. If you reject Rav's svara, then there's no alternative. So what does the Mishnah say? Why isn't she Mukadeshes B'Shogeg? The answer is because it's Mekach Tos. That's the only way to understand the Mishnah.
This Mishnah is the general...
That is basically...
This Mishnah is the general rule from Rav Meir.
Correct.
Rather than Rav saying that this Mishnah is the exception to Rav Meir.
Correct. Omer Rav Nachman, Omer Rav Ad Baravo. Now, how do we rule? We said, Rav Meir holds if you're Makadosh with Maser Sheni. Bein B'Shogeg, Bein B'Mezid, Ein Mukadeshes. Why? Because Maser Sheni Mom Gavoa. It's not your asset. You're giving the woman, okay? So he says, Omer Rav Nachman, Omer Rav Barad, Halok Rav Meir b'Maser. We rule like Rav Meir by Maser Sheni. Why? Ho v'sosam lontanu kavose. Because Rabbi Yudah Nossi, when he wrote the anonymous Mishnah, he wrote it according to the position of Rav Meir. Not our Mishnah. Our Mishnah, we have an argument, Rav Meir and Rabbi Yudah, right? But we have another Mishnah, which the Gemara is going to quote, where it's stated anonymously that if you Makadosh Maser Sheni, It's Einim Ukudeshes. Why is it Einim Ukudeshes? Bein b'shogi, bein b'mezid. No. We're not talking about the source. There's an argument. Factually, is there an argument Rameh and Rebuda, Bashem Mamagvo and out? There's an argument. Normally, Rebuda, Reb Meir, we rule like Rebuda, not Reb Meir. But here, because we find Rebuda Anosi had written an anonymous Mishnah, Einim Ukudeshes, therefore we rule like Rameh in this instance. Stam Mishnah is... No, we'll see. So because we have a Stam Mishnah regarding Ma'aseh Sheni, Hol v'sosam lontana kavosei, v'alochak Reb Yehuda behegdish. And we rule like Reb Yehuda regarding Hegdish, that if you marry a woman b'mezid with Hegdish, Einim Ukudeshes. Because Mila has no relevance to Mezid, only b'shogeg. Okay? Also, Hol v'sosam lontana kavosei k'Reb Meir. Because Reb Yehuda Nosi had established an anonymous Mishnah according to Reb Yehuda. Hol v'sos tana kavosi behegdish. Hol v'sos tana. Stop. Sos l'montana.
The principle here is that it's ready to put his Mishnah as a Stam Mishnah and doesn't put the other opinions that there's an opposite. The halakha is established according to that way.
Exactly. That's that Bezum Beyo. We don't have a Stam. Our Mishnah is not a Stam Mishnah. Mishnayos or Stam. Which are the Mishnayos? See, which indicate Ma'aseh Sheni is Mama Gavoa. We cannot maze it. The Gemara is going to quote those Mishnayos. That's it. Well, the Gemara is going to say in a moment the Chiddush. First, let's talk about the concept. The Gemara in Be'ah, that Beis on the Beis. Why is Stam Mishnah? Oh wait, the halacha like Stam Mishnah. What's the principle? Why? No, Stam. So one Rabbi Yehuda Nasi should have recorded the name. Why did he record the name? No. Not everybody may agree to it. Here we have an argument, and then we have a Stam Mishnah elsewhere. We have a machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Reb Meir, or you have a machlokes Yochid v'Rabim, and you may find elsewhere a Stam Mishnah according to the minority opinion. So why does Rabbi Yehuda Nasi write it anonymously? He should present the person's opinion. There is a name behind that opinion. So why doesn't he identify the person? Right, this is the question. So Rashi explains in the Beis on Beis in Beyo, just because normally if you can't resolve something, a question, the Torah says it's irresolvable. Yochid v'Rabbi lochu Rabbi. You follow majority rule, like from Bezdin, right? We learn from Bezdin. But what happens at times where the minority is a more correct position? Who was able to make that evaluation? Rabbi Yehuda Nosi and his Bezdin. They evaluated the opinion of the majority and minority. There were times that the minority were more correct. If he would record it, the opinion by name as minority. So a person would learn that Mishnah, what would he say? Because he doesn't have the understanding which one is more correct. So he said, I'm not sure. So he followed the principle of Yochid V'Rabim Lochik Rabim. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi writes the Mishnah anonymously that you don't know. According to your understanding, this is the position of the Rabbim. As a result of that, you'll accept it according to halacha. That's the reason why Rebbe did not identify the person behind the opinion in the Stam Mishnah for that reason. This applies to anything, any situation. Not only Rameh, review any Stam Mishnah, whoever the argument may be. Okay? So he says, we have, each one has the anonymous Mishnah. Regarding Hegdish, it's like Reb Yehuda, which is what? Shogig and not Mezid, and Ma'aseh Sheni, whether it's Shogig or Mezid, Ein Mukadeshes, Ma'aseh Sheni Mom Gavor. Karameh b'Ma'aseh Mai. So I was going to say, it's interesting. The Gemara says in a number of locations, Beis Shammai b'Mokom Beis Hillel Ein a Mishnah. Right? Mm-hmm. What does that mean, Ein a Mishnah? When any argument Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, we don't even reckon with Beis Shammai whatsoever. We don't even take them into consideration whatsoever. So the Gemara is going to say, no more, we're going to quote a Mishnah, Machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, and although Beis Shammai's opinion is mentioned in the Mishnah, but since it's versus Beis Hillel, we see that like a Stam Mishnah. Here we have a Mishnah which identifies the opinions, and even though the opinions are identified, that's classified as a Stam Mishnah. the Gemara is going to say. Because Beis Shammai is not considered an opinion in the place of Beis Hillel. Okay, we'll see in a moment.
Put it there makes you recognize that there was another opinion and it wasn't considered.
Well,
Correct?
it's whenever you find any, as I said, even if you find elsewhere Machlokas, let's see it in a moment. Where do we find b'maisa keremei b'maisa mai? Ditnan kerem ravai. Now, what's the halacha? We have 3 years orlo. Torah says the first 3 yields of a fruit tree, you're not permitted to benefit from. The 4th year, what is that called? It's called, let's say you have a vineyard. No one. The fruit has to be destroyed. The 4th yield is called kerem ravai. It's the kerem of the 4th year. What do you do with that? So you have to take to Yerushalayim and eat it. Now, what's its status? Does it have the same status as Maaseh Sheni? Or no? There are variations, there are differences. There's slight differences between the two. That's going to be Machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. For instance, in Zalocha, you harvest your field, you have to leave the gleanings for the poor. Leket Shichel Peah. There's something similar with a vineyard. You pick your vineyard and then you forget to pick certain grapes, so the grapes should fall to the ground. You have to leave it for the poor. What about it's the harvesting of the 4th year? Those grapes, do you treat it like an ordinary year? And all the laws, if you forgot to pick certain things off the tree, or the grapes fell to the ground, do you have to leave it for the poor? We say no. The 4th year, the status is different. The fruit has a different status. And therefore, you don't have to leave it for the poor. That's going to discuss Machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. The first time you're able to benefit from the fruits of a vineyard. 4th year. What exactly is the status? Do we treat that harvest as an ordinary harvest, or do we treat it differently? No. All of it. No, it has to be in Yerushalayim. Let's say, Kerem Ravai. They Shami Omrim Ein Lo Chom. Now, what's the halacha? You have Maaseh Sheni. Let's open Maaseh Sheni. If a person redeems his Maaseh Sheni, because the Torah says that if it's too difficult to transport it to Yerushalayim, if you take a minted coin and you want to transfer the kiddushin onto the coin, you can. Then you take the coin to Yerushalayim and you purchase food in Yerushalayim. Okay? Wait. So the Torah says it's preferable you should take the fruit. But if you can't take the fruit, you have to take its value. If you do the redemption, the halacha is, and you're the original owner of the fruit, you have to add a 5th. Add a 5th to the value of the fruit. We prefer you take the fruit. The Torah prefer, but if you're not able, because it's too cumbersome, it's too difficult, you could transfer its kedusha onto the money, but the money you bring, you have to add a 5th of its value to purchase in Ishleim more than the original fruit was worth. That's called Keren V'chomish. What about if a person takes his maaseh and gives to another party? Gives it. And that person says, you know something, I have to take to Yerushalayim. It's too cumbersome. I'll redeem it. He doesn't pay the 5th. It's only the original person who Gzeres HaKosov. That's the Gzeres HaKosov. Okay? Maaseh Sheni, nobody else. Maaseh Sheni, only the one who had the Maaseh Sheni originally pays the 5th, not a third party. Okay? So let's see. Of Kedusha. It's not Hen. We'll see. You can't buy it. It's called redeem it. It's redeem it. It's chulin. Or ordinary chulin. We'll see. We'll discuss it. It's a separate discussion. Because the Gemara says that if you redeem it even on a Shavuot Pruta, it's valid. You did the wrong thing. So it'll be a 5th of that. Whatever the value of the redemption is, you have to add a 5th to that the value of the redemption. We'll see. Beishami Omrim Ein Lo Chomish. Kerem Ravai, if you redeem the fruit, one doesn't pay the Chomish. Ve'ein Lo Biur. Now the Torah says that if a person withholds certain tithes for 3 years, you have to what? You have to rid your house of all the tithes, whether it's Trumer and Meiser, something you should have given to the Kohen, something you should have given to the Levi. Maaseh Sheni, things you should have taken to Yerushalayim. Comes to the 4th, you're holding by the 4th year, you have to go to Yerushalayim, make sure you have to rid your house of all those tithes, distribute them, or take to Yerushalayim. That's called biur. Right? Ubiyarti HaKodesh Min HaBayis. Person, it's called Vidim Maaseh Sheni. Person makes a confession, I've what? I've removed everything, right? Birman. Biyati HaKodesh min Abayis. Reish Shammai says, Keren Ravai has no relevance to beer. Beis Hillel Ram Yeshlo. Beis Hillel says, no, it has. Principle, fifth, and beer. That's because it's called Kodesh. Because Keren Ravai is Kodesh, according to Beis Hillel. Biyati HaKodesh min Abayis, that's also Kodesh. Beis Shammai Ram Yeshlo Peret, Yeshlo Olulus. This peret, if some of the grapes should fall to the ground, it's leaving, harvesting, leaving a sheaf in the field. The halach is you have to leave it through the poor. Yesh la'olus, if you leave some of the branches with grapes on the vine, you have to leave it for the poor. Yisilomrim kula lagat. The one who owns the vineyard in the fourth year takes it all to the press. You take all the grapes, press them. You have to leave nothing for the poor. Even if it falls, it's his grapes on the ground. He could take those grapes, press them. We'll say, my time to Beis Hillel. What's the base of Beis Hillel says that you have to add the fifth. And you don't have to leave it to the poor, and so on and so forth. Beis Hillel Gamri Kodesh Kodesh Meiser. He learns Exer Shava, it says Kodesh by Keren Ravai, and it says Kodesh by Meiser Sheni. Ma Maser, Yesh Lo Chomesh, Yesh Lo Biur. Just as Maser, if you redeem it. It's principal plus a fifth, and when after the third year you have to rid it from your house, take it to Yerushalayim. Avkem Ravai, Yesh Lo Chomesh, you have to add the fifth. Yesh Lo Biur, you have to rid it from your house, take it to Yerushalayim. So it's simple. That's what Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel says. All the laws of Maser apply to the laws of Keren Ravai, right? Because it has kedusha. Beis Hillel Lo Gamri Kodesh. He doesn't have he rejects the Gzer Shav. It's not part of his Masorah. Masorah. Gezer Shav's halach l'mashem Sinai. Beis Shammai did not have that Masorah. Didn't have it. Lo Gamri Kodesh Kris Meiser. Ubeis Hillel Omri Kamaser. Now wait. 1 second. Just see Rashi over here. I just want to see, Rashi says over there, although Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel mentioned, we see it, it's not yet, a little further. We see it as a Stam Mishnah. We'll see in a minute. Beis Hillel Omri Kamasa, Kaman Tzvirlu. So Beis Hillel says that Maser Sheni, is very good, is the Keren Ravai is the Kluvna Maser. According to Beis Hillel. But the Gemara wants to know, now when he says Kamas, according to, is it Reb Yehuda or is it Reb Meir? Is it Mammon Gavoa or is it Mammon Hedget? Ikar Reb Yehuda, my kulagat. If it's Reb Yehuda, that what? That it's Maser Sheni, is Mammon Hedget. See, Maser Sheni, you have to leave it for the poor. So why do you say you take it all to the press? The fourth year we say whatever grapes left on the vine or fall to the ground, you take it, you squeeze all the grapes. What do you mean? If it's yours, you have to distribute to the poor. You treat it like your field or like your vineyard. Homa Maser Mammon Hedgetu. If Beis Hillel is following the position of Reb Yehuda, that it's Mammon Hedged, so that means you have to leave it for us. How could he say that the whole yield, he presses it, all goes to the press, Elalav. So Beis Hillel says it's Kula Lagat. What does that mean? Well, we're saying that Keren Ravai is like Maser Sheni, El Reb Meir. Right? He's following the position of Reb Meir that it's what? It's Mammon Gavoa. Let's say Hegdish would have their own vineyard. Right? The Hegdish would have a vineyard. And the grapes, and during the harvest, it should fall to the ground. Do you leave it for the poor? You don't leave it for the poor. Right? So over here, the Torah says the vineyard is not his vineyard. It's Mammon Gavoa. Except here, the Torah allows him to partake of the fruit. See, Hegdish, you have to redeem it. You're not permitted. When we say there, it's Mammon Hegdish. This is Mammon Gavoa. This is like we said before, Mishulchan Gavoa Kazochu. God says you're welcome to eat it, but whose food are you eating? You're eating God's food. Hegdish is what? That's consecrated, where you have no right to partake of it.
Because they have no relevance with the poor.
Right.
So it looks like Beis Hillel is Mammon Gavoa.
That looks like it is. Beis Hillel is going according to the position of Rameya. That's Mammon Gavoa. Mammon Gavoa. Nothing. No, we're showing why it's a Stam Mishnah. Right? So over here, where is it? Now, you see, it's very important, this Rashi. Beis Hillel, who compares Keren Ravai to Masasheni. According to whose position is he following? Masasheni leaning moment gavo, moment hedged. El lafka Remeir. See Rashi. It's going like Remeir. Beis Hillel kistam mishne choshavlu da'alocha kamosa. Because before we said the reason why we rule like Remeir is because they have a stam mishnah. There's not a stam mishnah, correct? In the mishnah, both positions are mentioned here, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. So Rashi says, "Ubeis Hillel kistam mishnah choshavlu da'alocha kamosa." It's not even the question. Other questions, you have two opinions. You're not sure who do you rule like. Whenever you have in a mishnah the machlos Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, it's not a question. Beis Shammai machlos in the mishnah. It's like it's not stated there. You don't even recognize it.
But how's he coming down to the fact that it's Stam Mishnah and
Before we had to state, why do we rule like Rameh regarding Ma'aser Sheni? Because we have a Stam Mishnah.
Right. So
Well, that's the question. That's what Rashi is addressing over here. We're quoting a Mishnah. The Mishnah is not a Stam Mishnah because it's cited in Machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. What exactly is Neter Ravai? Keren Ravai.
So when we say before Stam Mishnah, we just mean that's how the Mishnah goes.
No. Stam Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda Nossi stated in the context where it's no question the way it's stated. That's the halacha.
Right.
No, but normally no other opinion stated. Here, if you're quoting Beis Hillel, it's irrelevant in other opinions. It's like Beis Shammai is not being stated in the Mishnah. That's what it is. It's a chiddush, right? But there's, what are you talking about? Rameir is a Talmud. Was their Talmidim? So, of course, this is preceded. No, but we're saying it's going according to that. Look, at Sinai, what did it say? Did Moshe Rabbeinu teaches like Rameir or like Rabbi Yehuda? It's Master Sheni Mam Gavo. I mean, of course, but we're going back. Of course, it was before. Beis Hillel preceded Rameir, but it's clear from Beis Hillel what he's saying that he's found the position of Rameir, that it's Mam Gavo. So Beis Shammai is mentioned in the Mishnah. The answer is, although he stated it, it's like he doesn't exist. You just ignore that position. Okay?
But because it doesn't make sense otherwise. That's why.
What do you mean it doesn't make sense otherwise?
That's the whole
Well, it's proving it.
Yeah.
Because it's, otherwise, why is it kul legat? But there's no question. It's clear we really, but why is the Gemara refer to this as a Stam Mishnah? That's the difficulty. So that Rashi's explained, that's called a Stam Mishnah. Where there's no question that this is the halacha, the definitive halacha, that's called Stam Mishnah. Yeah, then you take the wine to Yerushalayim. Okay? Take the fruit or the wine, but it be here. It's interesting. I mean, the Gemara says in Be'er, on that Gimel, regarding muktzah, right? The Gemara says that if you purchase grapes for eating, and you store them, and as a result of the weight of the grapes, some of the juice oozed out of the grapes, are you permitted to drink the juice? Do we see the juice as what? Are we concerned that if you drink the juice, you may squeeze the grapes? Was it muktzah? Gemara discusses it over there. Like if a fruit falls off a tree, you're not permitted to eat the fruit. So one of the reasons given, Shemi Alav Yitlosh. Of course, you may pick another fruit. If you're not permitted to eat the fruit. So if you have juice oozing out of grapes, right? So why aren't you permitted to drink the juice? Because there's a chance you may squeeze the grapes. You want more juice, similarly to picking the apple off the tree. Okay? So the Gemara says, according to one opinion, wants to differentiate. Are we speaking about table grapes? Now we're talking about Howard's language. Are we talking about table grapes or wine grapes? Okay? Table grapes are not meant to be squeezed. First, it's a more expensive grape. As a result of that, you pay more. It's the quality of the grape. It's not damaged or whatever it may be. So a person in that situation, if juice should ooze out, you're permitted to drink the juice. Because we know with certainty he's not going to squeeze the grape. Because he's not going to, in terms of his financial investment of the quality of the grape, he's not going to squeeze it. But if he purchased the grapes for squeezing, then he's not permitted to drink the juice. Because since they were purchased for that purpose, so that there's a gzera. This guy may squeeze here, may squeeze the grapes for that reason. So over here, evidently, what are we talking about? You ask me. You can take the fruit to eat. Evidently, when he says kula lagat, we're talking about a vineyard. That this vineyard is for what purpose? We're talking about wine grapes. So therefore, it's kula lagat. So what do you take to Yerushalayim? Not the grapes. You take to Yerushalayim to squeeze. You squeeze them. You fully process it. You squeeze it. Take the wine. You take to Yerushalayim. No, but I'm just explaining to you. But why the wine? Why not the grapes? It's clear we're talking about it's wine grapes. No, not scotch, David. Not scotch. Okay. Now, Rebuta by Hegdish. Where do we find Rebuta regarding Hegdish? Mayi. We rule like Rebuta by Hegdish that Mila is only B'shogeg, not B'mezid. Did not? Now, we said earlier that we normally say Yeshlich Varavera regarding Me'ilah. Person mistakenly instructs an agent to take a bag of money, believing it's his own, to purchase something, and the agent purchases it. Follows the instruction of the one who asked him to do it. So the act of Mila is attributed to the one who sent him. Yeshlich Varavera. Okay? What happens before the agent arrives? The one who sent him realized he made a mistake, and the agent purchases whatever he purchased. Who's Moel? The agent is Moel. Because the one who sent him is Mazid now. Right? The law, it can't be attributed to him because he's a Mazid. Being aware, he's a Mazid. In the context of Mazid, you can't attribute it back to him. So we'll see in a moment. We're speaking about a case here. He didn't know, but the one who sent him now knows. What about he sends him and he realizes it was Hegdish, and the Shliach realized it was Hegdish. They both realized. So Mila has no relevance, not to the agent and not to the one who sent him. And he goes and he gives it to the Chenvani, to the storekeeper, to purchase what. And the storekeeper is unaware. Who's going to be Moel? The storekeeper is Moel. Of course, the storekeeper is the one who actually took it as a purchase, as a means of purchase. So the conversion takes place in the domain of the storekeeper.